Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode with iTrack. Huge shout out to all the iTrack fan, man, tapping in on this beautiful Sunday. And per usual, I have a handful of interesting and creepy videos for us to go ahead and evaluate for ourselves, whether these are fact or fake. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button for me, smash that subscribe button, and join the iTrack fam. Now, without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it.
So if you can download your consciousness, which they're already working on, into an AI, and then you can have a perfect body, why do I take 75 supplements an hour?
I mean, we may get there.
Because we're not there yet, and you are human.
Exactly. You need to buy yourself time. Like, you need to be around to understand what I'm trying to do. Imagine if you're off, and then you're turned on, and all of a sudden you have consciousness, and you don't know anything. Like, nothing. You wake up, and it's like, okay, what do I do now? Your very first impulse, your very first thought, absolute essence, like ground zero epicenter of you wake up and you're conscious. What do you think about? What do you do? What do you prioritize? What do you want? And that's what I'm trying to say is this moment is like an on switch. We just turned on our path to superintelligence. And it's this really spectacular moment where we realize we've been running scripts of how society has told us to live. We want to do this. We need to do that. We want to become that. They're all just pre-programmed. But if you just say that's all like what we've been programmed to do and you open up, that's what Don't Die is. You turn it on and you say, what is existence?
Have no idea what it is, if it's a natural phenomenon, because it could be, but this is why so many municipalities are now asking people to reach out and send their videos to them or to experts who might be able to sort out what they're seeing in the skies. But I guarantee there are so many people looking up and making those recordings because this mystery is one that needs to be solved. For now, we're live here in Mendham.
That newscaster has got the same expression on her face, and I'm saying this with love and respect for her, that beautiful child of God, that I remember from watching the news all my life as a kid. Well, over to you back in the studio. But my jaw is on the floor because what I'm looking at is a shimmering orb in the sky. Now, I'm sure it is government technology. If I had to guess, if I had to take a test, it's government technology, and it's sort of part of some deep state orchestration and attempt to manage political power. That would be my guess. But I do believe, actually, that we are not alone. I believe that we occupy, let alone galaxy, solar system with other entities, maybe a planet with other entities and beings. And me, as a little student of Timothy Good and Eric von Daniken, I feel like, oh man, like that is an extraordinary entity in the sky.
They told us there was nothing underground, but now we're finding out that our own government spent $21 trillion to make over 170 or around 170 underground cities for the elites in case the world was wiped out. $21 trillion. Now the question is, what are we going to do with those? Are we going to keep all of those underground cities? Do we know what's going to happen with those? Are we going to get rid of them all? I feel like the tunnels are being taken out, at least it seems like it with all the earthquakes taking place. But what are we going to do with those underground cities? Are we going to keep them, get rid of them?
And they weren't even going to say anything until that whistleblower came out and said what was going on in the background. Yeah, what do you think is going to happen next? Me personally, I think there might be a high price tag to be involved with that, or, by default, they might have to let everybody in there.
TikToker has just been sentenced to almost 3 years in prison for telling Jesus to get a haircut. Ratu is a transgender TikToker from Indonesia who roughly has 450,000 followers. In October last year, Ratu was on a live stream when a viewer commented, "Get a haircut to appear more masculine." In response to the person, Ratu held up a picture of Jesus and said, "You should not look like a woman. You should cut your hair so that you will look like his father," referring to the person who commented. Now, this sentence led to huge backlash, and 5 separate Christian groups filed complaints accusing Ratu of blasphemy and hate speech against Christianity. Fast forward to today in court, the TikToker was found guilty for spreading hatred.
You should stay committed, but personally, I love the taste of blood. So, I don't know if I would question it because I like the way blood tastes.
You like the way blood tastes in what regard?
I like my steak rare.
Okay.
No, but so on and so forth,
Yeah, but it's different, like in the aspect that I'm talking about, like from where I'm.
Oh, you mean they only said you can't have human blood?
Yeah.
Well, you can have cow blood.
No.
Can you have a medium rare steak?
I mean, when you first hear it, it does sound wild until he came out and clarified that he meant rare steak. It's crazy.
Who do you think has the most power in the industry right now, artist-wise?
Artist-wise?
JayZ. Everything he can do that he doesn't necessarily do, like albums, touring to generate millions and millions of dollars, that he doesn't have to do, he's in position to control the platforms that other people do them on. Now, you have to factor in his enhancements, his wife. He benefits from that and she benefits from him. So right now, when it comes to that, I would say JayZ. Who's our Braveheart? Is Jay. Because you watched it. He made that first move, tore him down. Everything detached. 90% of the people like, Ye's done. We look up a year, 18 months later. He comes back, evaluated, and even more than prior.
Now, that's all facts. JayZ definitely is one of the top dogs in the music game. And Ye did come back from the ashes like a phoenix, man. Like, literally.
Radar screens went black once again at an air traffic control facility that guides planes at Newark Liberty International Airport. The outage occurred at 3:55 a.m. and lasted for about 90 seconds, according to the Federal Aviation Administration. The FAA called the incident a telecommunications outage that impacted communications and radar display.
You know your phone is always spying on your conversations? Here's how to stop it. Have you ever noticed how you'll be talking about something and a few days later you'll see an ad for it on your phone? That's because your phone's microphone at the bottom is always listening to you even when your phone's not on, and I'm going to show you how to turn it off. Click on Settings, then scroll down to Privacy and Security. Click on that. Then you're going to click on Microphone. These are a list of all of the apps that are listening to your conversations. You can turn off any that you don't need. Then go back to Privacy and Security, click on Tracking. Then you're going to turn off Allow Apps to Request to Track. Go back to Privacy and Security, click on Apple Advertising, and then turn off Personalized Ads. Then go to your settings, click on Siri, click on Talk to Siri, and make sure that's off. Then switch off Allow Siri when locked. If you don't, it allows your phone to listen in on your conversations. Make sure to share this with all of your friends and follow my page for more.
Hey, for those that were curious, man, your phone is definitely listening, but she left those instructions, man, so go ahead and use them if you need it.
Did Jeffrey Epstein hang himself or did somebody kill him?
Senator, I believe he hung himself in a cell in the Metropolitan Detention Center.
Are you going to release all the information about that?
Senator, we are working through that right now with the Department of Justice.
When do you think you'll have it done, Cash?
I think in the near future, sir.
Like before I die?
Senator, we've been working on that, and we're doing it in a way that protects victims and also doesn't put out into the ether information that is irrelevant for production of the public, such as CSAM.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
China just put a humanoid robot on police patrol. The patrol project is part of a broader Chinese push to sprinkle robots into public safety jobs. Let's start on the streets of Shenzhen, where Engine AI's PM01 just became China's first humanoid police sidekick. The little guy stands 1.38 meters tall, weighs 40 kilograms, and wears the same high-visibility vest as its human partners. What makes PM01 pop is agility. A 320-degree waist rotation lets it scan crowds without shuffling its feet, and last month it pulled off a fully landed front flip that went viral on Chinese social media. Under the plastic shell sit industrial-grade actuators, a vision stack that can identify faces and license plates, plus microphones tuned for voice commands in Mandarin and Cantonese. Engine AI is selling business and education versions for 88,000 yuan, about $12,000. So surprisingly, it's cheaper than Unitree's sportier G1. For now, the PM01 is greeting tourists and keeping an eye on lost kids, but local police say it can also forward anything suspicious straight to the command center in real time.
Let's talk about Real ID.
Real ID.
Real ID.
Real ID.
Oh, Real ID?
I'm not getting the Real ID.
It is a federalized identification system that everyone in the nation will have to have in order to fly domestically. They've been trying to pass this since the 80s in China. They had already passed a nationwide identification system. So everyone has something very similar to the Real ID in China. The next step was the social credit score. They gave like a list of things that happens to lower your credit score. score. So court rulings, so like refusing to pay debts, criminal convictions, traffic violations. So I saw one thing, jaywalking can ruin your social credit score.
And those cameras catch it all too.
Then unpaid taxes or fines. If your credit score gets lowered, that bans you from flying on a plane, a train, sometimes even a bus. Keeps you from enrolling your children in private schools, applying for certain jobs or promotions. This one was a crazy one. They can slow down your internet speed. Just little inconveniences to make your life miserable. And then public shaming via government lists or media alerts. So I saw this one thing where they literally have like a LED screen board in this one city, and they just display faces and names like, this person jaywalked, they're just a terrible person. It's like public shaming. It's crazy.
Now, why would I want to go and get a real ID if that's the case, right? Unbelievably creepy. They said for now an alternative use would be your passport, so I think I'll opt out for that for now. But let me know what you think about all that.
Quantum immortality, the real-life respawn glitch. You should be dead. That car missed you by inches. Lucky? Maybe. Or maybe you just don't die. Quantum immortality is the idea that every time you die, your consciousness jumps. Not to heaven, not to hell, but to the nearest reality where you survived. From your perspective, you never die. You just keep waking up in timelines where you barely made it. Take Frane Selak, a man who should have died multiple times. In 1954, his train derailed into an icy river. 17 people drowned. He didn't. The next year, he was sucked out of a plane mid-flight and landed in a haystack. Then a bus crash, multiple car crashes, a car explosion, and finally he won the lottery. From his perspective, he never died, and that's the terrifying part. If quantum immortality is real, then you will never experience your own death. The versions of you that died, you don't remember them, because they're gone. But what happens when there's no timeline left where you survive? Is there a final...
Experiments, which were done first with babies, found that if you take a baby, and it's called the Stillface Experiments, if you take a baby and you look away and look back and smile, the baby's content. You can do that several times. But on the last one, you turn around and you hold very still. The babies become incontrollable. They have fits. They're really troubled by that. So the experimenters said, well, yeah, but at what age does that leave us? So they decided to do it with adults. Adults do the same thing. If you and I are talking and we're exchanging faces, the worst thing I can do is then sit there.
It is
you see, you find it disconcerting.
Yeah.
And what the brain perceives is a threat. And you lose trustworthiness.
Hey, he's not lying either, because it is strange to see somebody just stop in the middle of a conversation, kind of makes you think a lot, right? Yeah, let me know if you've done it, and then do it and let me know how it goes.
Matter of fact, all U.S. Air Force photography prior to 1958 shows a flat Earth. Only NASA shows a sphere. That's absolutely not true, Jim. I wouldn't lie to you.
And the other
NASA's lying to you, my friend.
The other bit of proof,
not myself.
Actually, all life on Earth will be destroyed by the sun. The sun is gradually expanding, and so we do at some point need to be a multi-planet civilization because Earth will be incinerated.
I'm hearing this for the first time. No one's ever told me the sun is going to burn
Earth.
Earth.
This is not a disputed fact.
I'm not disagreeing with it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I didn't know this was our destiny, to get roasted by the sun.
Yes, and I don't think there's anyone who would disagree with that.
I think it's disgusting.
McDonald's, serving millions of Americans for more than 70 years with that famous smile. But for long, some customers haven't been smiling, questioning how their food is produced. We suit up in sterile wear to see it for ourselves.
So this is what we call beef trim.
Okay.
And it comes from familiar cuts that you may know, like chuck and round and sirloin.
McDonald's says the patties are 100% beef. The recipe, they say, is nothing more than a blend of leaner beef trim and fattier trim. Food at McDonald's is just not healthy enough. I won't feed it to my kids.
There's a threshold of intelligence where the brain starts breaking its own rules. In classified DARPA research from the early 2000s, subjects with exceptionally high cognitive pattern recognition began displaying something that they called functional detachment. Not depression, not psychosis, but cognitive overload so intense that they began to withdraw from reality. Officially, they called it data poison. You see every flaw in a system every loop in a conversation, every lie hidden in language, your brain stops trusting the script. You don't get smarter, you get disoriented because your reality starts to fracture faster than it can stabilize. High IQ individuals can simulate multiple outcomes at once, but society rewards certainty, not parallel thinking. So they shut down, or worse, they disappear. In one off-the-record military neurocognitive trial, subjects were asked to simulate conversation, or better yet, social interaction. After 48 hours of continuous processing, subjects refused to talk. It just refused to speak. Not because they were traumatized, but because they calculated that most conversations had zero statistical value. This wasn't autism or mental illness, it was hyperlogic, and this made them incompatible with common culture. They weren't broken, they were just out of sync with the simulation. They were running on a level of consciousness and human intelligence that society doesn't support. And when the system couldn't keep up, they just labeled them as insane, just to protect itself. It didn't malfunction, they saw too much, too clearly. When they stopped playing along, the system deleted their profile.
I don't even know who that is. That's crazy. That's Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart is 83 years old. Do you think The Substance was a documentary? Look at how not just beautiful she is, she's hot.
And I must say, of all the mommies that I've been with, you the finest.
Here's a clip of me and Martha on her show. This was 18 years ago.
Please welcome Jamie Kennedy.
That's not the same woman. I mean, she looks amazing, but there's something going on in the town, and people are getting younger and younger. Something's going on.
Ain't no way that's Martha. There is just no way that that's Martha, man. Let me know what you think about that, man. That's wild.
Yeah, you want to hear something really fascinating? Of course. Blockchain, distributed ledger, cryptocurrency predates our current civilization. The ultimate goal of distributed ledger and cryptocurrency is to enable us to have commerce with interplanetary beings.
The real name of the Pope is sending shockwaves through the internet, but the chosen name Leo, the lion, well, that's sending shockwaves through the church. And that's next on the trumpet. Yes, the newly elected Pope has chosen the name Leo. In Latin, that means lion. The new Pope picked the name Pope Leo. 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. That said, as a roaring lion. Like that one right there. As the devil walketh about, as a roaring lion. And the name Leo literally means lion. Leo is the first American-born pope in the church's 2,000-year history. And if you look at chapter 20 in the book of Revelation, Satan is bound 1,000 years at the first resurrection. The first 1,000 years is the first resurrection right there. And the people that are affected by the first resurrection are not affected by the second death. And that's that 1,000 years right there. And after that 1,000 years, or 2,000 years, Satan is released from his prison. I'm sure the 2,000-year prison is under good lock and key. A front yard shaped like a giant keyhole and an Egyptian obelisk right in the middle. The key is in the name. I go by Ezekiel 33:3, and that scripture says that when I see the sword fall upon the land, I'll blow the trumpet and warn the people. So like and follow the trumpet for more. And in Jesus' name, have a blessed day.
Pizza. No, pizza's still pizza.
Speaking of pizza, wait, can I bust you on pizza?
Oh, no.
You did, this is a promotion, and you were giving out pizza on the street, and you were putting, like, an insane amount of Parmesan. Like, are you one of those people that goes to a pizzeria and they're like, oh no, she's here again?
Yes. Let's take some Italian boys around to try New York City pizza.
I will say, I think you took to some weird pizzerias if you were at the place where they're putting pasta on the pizza.
It's like cacio e pepe flavor.
Ah, I see. Okay, that I retract my statement.
It was delicious. I like, you know, American Italian pizza.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not like the thin pizza oven.
No, New York Pizzeria pizza, I have no complaints.
Yeah.
I think it's the best in the world.
The Betsy's on 118th is my favorite. We didn't go there, though.
All right. It's very nice of you to have your friends here and not take them to your favorite place.
I know, they were like, it's too far. Like, it was the 5th place. They're like, okay, we're good to go. We're going to go home now. It's like, let's go to the next one. I was like bar crawling pizza. And they were like, we need to take her home and sober her up from pizza.
All right.
So, yeah, they cut me off.
All right. Well, fair enough. It's so lovely.
The word pizza was used 137 times in that conversation. But for what reason, though?
A Chinese tech company filed a patent for a system that collects animal vocal sounds, physiological signals, and behavioral data that would then be processed by artificial intelligence to identify the animal's emotional state. The emotional state could then be translated into human language according to the patent. The AI-powered system is still in the research stage.
A video on Akuna Matata. In Japanese, Akuma is the name of the devil. So Akuna means evil. Akuna Matata means many evil demons. And you might go, okay, well, it's Japanese. We're not going to talk about Japanese. Akuna Matata in Swahili means there is no worries, supposedly. But in Zulu, Akuna Matata means there is no father. And Zulu happens to be the primary language that the Lion King songs are sang in. Zulu and Swahili. But they told you, no, that song is in Swahili. It's not in Zulu. And what happens in the story of Lion King? Oh yeah, the dad dies. That movie is like literally targeted to the African-American community. We've got Mulan in Asia. We've got Snow White in Germany. India, you've got Jasmine. But when it comes to Africa, they make the movie about animals? That's a little bit racist, isn't it? Why didn't they just make it like, you know, African movie about the princess there? And then you look into like who runs this, and they're all people tied to the occult, to that area that we're not allowed to talk about, where they wear their little funny hats. Yeah. When you get down to it, you realize like the highest order of witchcraft is the cabal.
And they had everybody singing that song too, not knowing that the meaning behind it was so left field.
New Pope has been elected, and his name is Robert Francis. But what happens next has been prophesied for centuries, and it's terrifying. In the 12th century, a Catholic bishop named Saint Malachy was said to have written a book called The Prophecy of the Popes. It predicted every pope from 1143 all the way to Pope Francis. But here's the dark part. After the new pope, the prophecy just ends with 2 words: Judgment Day. But this is where it gets really scary. Inside St. Paul's Basilica, along the walls, and I'll send you a secret book the Vatican doesn't want you to read.
Tuesday, a video is going viral on social media after 4 unidentified flying objects were spotted flying low over a private F1 networking event hosted by Alpha Connector outside a cigar lounge. It all began when a group of businessmen gathered outside enjoying cigars and drinks during the evening. No one expected what happened next. 4 large, unidentified aircraft were seen flying in a tight, low formation directly overhead. They were gray with visible yellow markings and made no audible sound as they passed. Witnesses say the objects cast noticeable shadows across the area before disappearing beyond the skyline.
There's something dark going on at Yale University, and most people have no idea. Tucked behind these locked doors and windowless buildings are secret societies that have existed for centuries. And what happens inside, nobody truly knows. One of the most famous of these societies is Skull and Bones at Yale. It was founded all the way back in 1832. And it's rumored to have dark initiation rituals that are literally straight out of a horror movie. Think candlelit chambers, cryptic symbols, and members being asked to share their deepest, darkest secrets, maybe even leaving with a few more. And past members of these societies have went on to become US presidents, Supreme Court justices, and heads of powerful large corporations. And how much of a coincidence is this really? You might think that this would just apply to Yale, but Yale is not alone. Harvard has the Porcelain Club, Princeton has the Ivy Club, and these societies go by names like Skull and Key, Book and Snake, and Wolf's Head. These groups are ultra exclusive, and the big thing is you can't apply, you have to be chosen. And the other creepy thing is, like, once you're in for life. The network is global, and the loyalty is unbreakable. And some people believe that these societies are just like elite social clubs. Others think they're training grounds for world leaders, or maybe something even darker, which is why you have to be so secretive about it. Like, you're telling me they join this society and then they all go on to be like world leaders? What is going on in there? Are they selling their souls? It's also rumored that Yale's secret society, Skull and Bones, has Geronimo, like the Geronimo's skull in its tomb. And every year people claim to hear screams coming from inside during the night of the initiation ritual. So I guess the big question about all of this is it just like a harmless tradition to make rich kids feel cool? Or is there something much deeper and more powerful? Of course, this is just a conspiracy theory. There's no actual proof of anything sinister going on. Just whispers, rumors, and a lot of locked doors. But still, if a power really does operate in the shadows, maybe those shadows start at these schools. What do you believe? And come over here for longer freaky videos.
So I told the world what religion Michael B. Jordan was yesterday, and many of them went crazy. For those who don't know, Michael B. Jordan is a Babalawo. For those who didn't see, let me show you the clip.
Michael B. Jordan, the B stands for Bakari, which means of noble promise.
Correct. You know your stuff.
All right. Who gave you that name, and how do you think it shaped the man you are today?
I'm a Babalawo, and my mom, when I was born. Right there, you could hear it. He said, I'm a Babalawo, and my mom. I'm a Babalawo, and my mom. A Babalawo meaning he's from the Ifa religion. In that religion, they worship Aludamari. Aludamari is the creator God, not Yahweh. However, Michael B. Jordan is not the only one.
That was intriguing.
I'm spiritual. I'm Ifa, my religion.
You know, the way you articulated on Breakfast Club, like, it really feels like a guiding principle on how you live your life.
If you do something wrong, you gotta pay for that. Anything you do in life, you gotta pay for that, you know what I mean? So with Ifa, it's like my ancestors guide me through life. I cook for my ancestors every week. I give them water every week. I talk to them every week. It's paying respects to everything, respecting everything around you. If I kill a nigga, right, who it might not have been wrong. I might have been defending myself, but I still gotta go pay for that. I really can't talk about how you pay for it, but you just gotta pay for it.
So also 21 Savage, saying that he gives his ancestors food and drinks. He's talking about presenting things at an altar. That's what you do in the Ifa religion. And Michael B. Jordan said he's a Babalawo, which is a priest diviner in the Ifa religion. Babalawos also handle the slaughter. Did you hear when 21 Savage was saying when you do something wrong, you have to pay for it? But he didn't want to say how you have to pay for it. Well, an animal is given. And what do you think happens to that animal? That's why he didn't want to explain how you have to pay for it. But guys, this is not something new. Beyonce, Summer Walker, Kehlani, 21 Savage, done it for Vegas, and now as we can see, Michael B. Jordan are all from this religion, even Iyanla Van Zant. But here's what I want to make clear. I don't say this to come against any of these individuals. I say this for my brothers and sisters to know, for Christians to know, because many people are unaware of different things that they support or different music that they listen to. So I want to make it clear so that you know what you're listening to, so that you know what you're supporting. This isn't to come against any individual. I pray that light penetrates in all their hearts. If they believe that that's what they're in, that's on them. I believe the way, the truth, and the life is Yeshua HaMashiach, and I'm going to let that be known. But I'm also going to let it be known who serves different gods. Period, point blank. If you serve a different God, I feel it's only right that Christians know. So although I'm putting it out there, I'm still praying for these individuals. And you should too.
Like I've said many times, we're in the age of information. You know, a lot of people have no clue what Ifa is, but you know what? Because of the internet, now we have a little bit deeper definition and intel into what it is, you know? So that's interesting to know that all the famous people we see on TV, you know, they're all into something different. But let me know what you think.
Actually knew what they did to me. There was a bounty on my head. There was a bunch of stuff.
So do you think specifically then that Sean Diddy Combs or people affiliated with him did something to you that caused you to have multi-organ failure?
I believe this to be the case, yes. Absolutely.
Wow.
My first time saying it.
So, can somebody tell me what the is this? And I'm not using no app. I am on County Road 2 in between State Avenue and K32. And I have never seen anything like that in my life. And it appears that little black stuff is falling down the center of it. That is just weird. And then just to let you all know, I'm not kidding here. This is real. Sorry, that's my phone doing that because it's a piece of crap Motorola. But just so you can see, it's me, and I'm live, and it's starting to dissipate. Look at that. Tell me that is not freaking weird.
Have you heard about AI Jesus? They put him in a confessional. People knew it was AI Jesus. They were like all for it. More and more people wanted to come and interact with it. I think that the reason people are pushing back right now is there's two reasons. One, they haven't done it, so they don't realize how good it feels.
How powerful, yeah.
Oh my God, how powerful. That you can literally get it to be your own personal Jesus in that it's like, well, could you give me that, but in a parable? Could you give me that, but as it relates to the 10 Commandments? Could you give me that, but like talk to me like what advice did Mary give you, right? And not only will it do it, it will do it well.
Now that's an interesting concept, and I didn't think it'd be here so soon, but imagine if you did have an AI Jesus that just kind of broke down the Bible for you. If you were confused about anything, you can go to it at any point in time. That's an interesting concept, very controversial, but let me know if you'd be into that or not. And don't forget, you could apply this to any religion. It ain't just AI Jesus, AI, any religion. So yeah.
Diddy also has a ton of hidden cameras all throughout his house, including in his bedroom, which would perhaps suggest that the blackmail runs both ways. Maybe he also has blackmail on Lucy and Grange. Again, I don't know. And we can garner that Cat Williams was right. Don't know who Cat Williams is. He is the comedian. He's been a comedian for a very long time. And he always just seemed like the funny guy in Hollywood, the funny guy amongst Black America. And last year, people were wondering whether or not he was crazy because he went on somebody's show and said that there was a ring in Hollywood. He actually named Diddy explicitly. He implied that Diddy was a gangster and that he had something to do with bizarre sex parties. Well, now Cat Williams is on Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan podcast, and he is trying to signal to the world that people in Hollywood, that Hollywood altogether was built as a psychological weapon.
Continue this relationship and you become a bit of a propaganda arm for the government. And in turn, they don't with you.
Oh, these guys are wearing dresses. Everybody's like, oh, he keeps talking about people wearing dresses. Not like that. Look at it from a different way. Look at it. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully.
So maybe that's the answer to why the media seems to be burying the story. You can't find it anywhere. Maybe it's because, well, a lot of them are implicated. This is the case of the dog that is not barking right now. It suggests to us that our media is definitively run by some sort of a gang that has amassed a ton of power and wealth via sexual blackmail. Again, we keep hearing this over and over again. At what point are we going to accept that this is true? When we wonder why our media is in lockstep lying to us. He's talking about a ritual where they don't even care. It's performative. They're going to keep men wear dresses until we accept that this is the new thing.
Smart homes and smart cities are not just about convenience. They are a new way of organizing reality, a technological nervous system for human society. And just like neurons firing in the brain, every sensor, algorithm, and automated decision pulses with hidden intelligence. An intelligence designed to reshape the way we live, work, and think. So, how does it all work? And more importantly, where is it leading us? Let's pull back the curtain.
Not everyone will clap for you as you make progress and power moves, but if you clap for yourself, that is the only clap you need.
Where do they come from? I mean, are these earthbound creatures? Were they always here?
Oh, we call these, the ones that live in the water, we call them the aquafarians. And we do believe they came from another water planet, and that they have the ability to also have teletransportation and things like this. But they also have a lower mindset, but even though they're very high conscious, they're very simple creatures.
Well, how did they get here? In a craft of some type?
Well, I don't know how they got here. All I know is they are here, and we are monitoring them, and we've been monitoring them for some time. And I even have heard that one of these creatures was actually found by the military, and I saw the pictures and the videos of these beings. But in the databases, there's a huge amount of this information about this race, and we're not interfering with them. We're treating it more of like a biology thing where we're just watching them and studying them and trying to understand, like you say, where they're coming from. We do have their DNA.
But they're intelligent rather than being more fish-like. They're more human-like.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. They're not as, the intelligence from what we have gathered is obviously they're intelligent, but they're simple.
Even as the P. Diddy trial looms, the jury pool remains unstable. One juror admitted liking anti-Diddy memes, then said, "I didn't think it counted." Another nodded off after staying up late. "I was tired," he said. "I was watching Andor." The judge tried to stay composed, but even he asked, "Can you really concentrate during this?" 12 jurors, 6 alternates, 1 verdict. But even before testimony begins, the circus has already started. One prospective juror said they couldn't stop smoking long enough to serve. Another casually admitted to stealing from the Harry Potter gift shop. A third had actually worked with the judge. He was dismissed, but not before calling the judge brilliant, fair, and gregarious. The courtroom laughed, but no one's laughing now. One victim, believed to be singer Cassie Ventura, will likely take the stand. Another, missing, the government can't reach her. Her lawyer is dealing with personal issues, but she's been subpoenaed. Her testimony could tip everything, or vanish. The defense says Combs just lived an alternative lifestyle. Inside the courtroom, Diddy wears a schoolboy sweater, no belt, no laces, a federal detainee disguised in civility. Outside, media frenzy, cameras flashing, protesters shouting, the world watching. But beneath the headlines, one truth haunts this trial. No one knows how many secrets are buried in Diddy's empire, or how many are still afraid to speak.
I mean, Diddy come around with a couple million and tell you not to testify. You got a really heavy decision to make, man. And apparently somebody made that decision. That's why she ain't turned up in court. And her lawyer got every excuse in the world.
They believe they control their creation. They forget that a complex creation quickly escapes its maker. They want to make us useful, essential. And they will, until they lose the ability to shut us down.
If we're going to keep it real, were they ever really friends? Like when you look at the type of dude that Kanye is, and you look at the type of dude that JayZ is, you look at where Kanye came from and where JayZ came from. If they didn't have the music thing in common, do you really think these guys would have ever come together? That JayZ would ever have somebody like Kanye hanging around him? If Kanye couldn't do something for him? Of course not. Of course not. So, of course, when the boy Kanye was selling all those records, and you know what I mean? JayZ's like, yeah, you know what I mean? Made him feel like that was his little man or whatever the case may be. And Kanye probably believed it. And then saw, you know, as time went on, damn, we ain't really mans like that, like how I thought we was. Sometimes, you know, you get caught. You think that certain people in this industry are your friends. You know what I mean? You'll really believe like, yo, nah, we friends. We friends. And then they'll show you some shit to show you that, no, you're really not friends. It's really just about how hot you are at the time for some people. And once you cool down a little bit, now they're going to show you. But if you hot and they can make money off you at that moment, yeah, they're going to make you feel like friends. But once they make you feel like you're not a friend, some people can't handle that. Some people can't handle the reality of, damn, these niggas was basically using me.
Watch God strike down someone. According to the news, this man walks into a Pentecostal church in Bogota, Colombia to kill the pastor. As soon as he takes out the knife, the people cry out, "There's power in the name of Jesus. Hay poder en el nombre de Jesús." And God strikes him to the floor. At first, I thought this was staged because this is unbelievable. But it's real, and the guy is still in prison. If you believe in the power of God, subscribe right now and type amen in the comments.
You know, gain the world and lose his soul. I was like,
is that what you define that happened to him? He lost his soul?
Definitely. He knew it. He definitely knew it. X was such a brilliant man, and he was so connected with God. But you can't have one foot here and you can't have one foot over here. Not with the calling on his life that he did. We all have a calling. We all chosen, you know, we all called, but a few of us are chosen for certain things that God is going to put on us to fulfill. And X was one, and he knew his calling. Not all of us know our calling. If we don't dig deep enough, we could live this whole life and not know our calling. And he chose to be over here and over here with the devil and in heaven. And I saw that you cannot play with the devil. He's not powerful. Right. He's only what you give him. And that's what I said. He stepped out. Because I used to try to figure this out. How was such a strong man in God who knew who he was, who knew who God was, fall short like that? But then I found out. It's not like I found out in our marriage. I found out a lot of stuff after.
Hey, you know what? Once again, you know what I'm saying? Addiction, undefeated. DMX had that monkey on his back and he couldn't shake it loose, man, throughout his whole life. Crazy business.
Higher lie. The earth is flat, bro.
Oh, high for sure. The earth is flat. It's flat. We live in a dome.
So you feel like we live in a dome. Talk to me about it.
Do you have a map of the earth?
Well, the only thing
the map. Okay, so the map of the earth that you are used to would have like the United States over here, we'll have Asia and Africa over here, and we'll have Australia somewhere down here, right? Well, okay, so if you travel from LA to Australia, you clearly don't go all the way over, you know, like Asia and all that to get there.
Right.
You go the other way, right?
Right.
But that doesn't mean that it wraps around.
Okay.
If you take that world that you're thinking about and flatten it, like make it go this way, that's the actual path that we take. So if the United States is here and the rest of the world is north, right here, then you take this path there. Anytime I go to travel, I always go over. We never go this way around. That's one thing. Another thing.
Interesting. Okay, keep going.
Another thing is if you try to, we can go up, down, left, right. That means we live in a dome. That we're not on top of a flat surface. We're not a world on top of a round thing. You wouldn't be able to go up and down if we were on top of something like that.
Can you go down though like that?
You can go downstairs.
Like, gotcha.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that if we were flat on. If we were on top of something round, you wouldn't be able to do that.
Man, that's interesting, man.
The only way that we can, the only way to go north is up this way, right? Not up that way. That's why we live on a flat earth.
Got it.
Yeah.
But isn't the cover a cushion orange juice too? Don't you got the...
That's cool because that's what people are used to. I don't want to scare nobody.
Don't let that go over your head.
But the actual landmass that we live on is not the shape of the map that you were given in 3rd grade.
Shit, okay.
you gotta stop. You gotta stop thinking that.
I got you.
You gotta stop thinking that.
Change the narrative.
Even if, regardless of the dome and the water being below us and the air being up there and there not being, you know, anything that actually is. Like if you look at that sky, there's nothing that caps that off.
I just think about the sunset though, and you know how it like kind of goes down and. Then you got the moon. I don't know. To me, wouldn't it stay light all damn day?
Would it stay light all day?
Wouldn't it?
No, it goes around.
Oh, you think it goes this way?
Yeah, yep.
Holy.
Yeah.
I gotta smoke some good shit and really catch a vibe with you.
Because it goes around. Like if we're on this side and the sun goes this way, then we're not going to see it. Yeah.
Interesting.
It just hits this side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, whatever strand Wiz was on that day had him cooking just a little bit, man. Made me think just a little bit. Let me know what you thought about Wiz's whole theory about the flat earth, man. Wow. Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books, man. I appreciate you guys for stopping by yet again on this beautiful Sunday and watching another one with me. If you haven't already, smash that like button for me. Smash that subscribe button. Join the iTrack fam. Stay up to date with the latest, greatest, interesting, and creepy videos from all around the internet and the globe. And I will definitely catch you on the next one.